Right guys, this is going to be a video regarding the Solstice of Heroes. For those that don't want to know about it, then just click off. For those that don't know, it got datamined all the quests and everything on how to get the full set and masterwork it. Now this is just regarding one detail. I'm not talking about the full event or anything like that. I'll put it in the description below about where the link is and whatnot. But talking about one detail, so you can see there's a bullet points for each class for Titan, Hunter and Warlock, and it works from helmet downwards, right? So the first bullet point for each class, which is the same, states complete a prestige nightfall with a score of 200,000 points or better. So that raises a lot of questions to me, and it can go one or two ways in my eyes. There's a boring way and then there's a more interesting way. The boring way would maybe be that they're going to keep the nightfall system the same as it is right now. So that'll involve a 540 nightfall base light activity that you go in. That's one milestone. You go in and you get it done. Then we've got a 100,000 point score nightfall that you've got to get. That's the next that's the next sort of milestone. Then they would then consider a prestige nightfall to be a 200,000 point score. They might just cut out 100,000 completely. Say, right, that's no longer a thing. Actually, thinking about it, I don't think they would have it where there's base 100 then 200. Probably just cut out 100 and then just go right to 200 and say this is the prestige nightfall. But there would be nothing added to it. All the modifiers in the card would be the same, and you would just be using the card that we've got, the existing card, to get the 200,000 points. Okay, and Bungie would consider that as a prestige nightfall. Okay, either that or they have it completely different. Now the word prestige has not been associated with nightfalls since D2 Year 1 Vanilla on the old system. This is why it's confusing to me why it says specifically complete a prestige nightfall. It doesn't say complete a prestige it doesn't say complete a nightfall of 200,000 points. It involves the word prestige, okay? So there's multiple ways that they can do this. Couple of ideas that I have of the way that they might do it if they do change the nightfall system, which could happen because they've brought Armor 2.0. They're bringing that before September. They're giving us a taste of it. So if they add any sort of way of, if they were gonna change the nightfall system, they could actually do it. Doesn't take a lot to do that. They could be giving us a taste of it a month beforehand. Okay. So ways that they could implement like a prestige level is that give us the base nightfall level. You can still have the card in there, right? So you can get your speed runs done. But the prestige level, when you select the prestige level, it's set modifiers for each strike has its own set modifiers maybe, and they make them within reason hard enough, you know. And then it's hard to get 200,000 points on those modifiers, you know. So say for example, Savathun Song comes round, and it's got momentum on there, it's got blackout, maybe has match game as well. You know, make it reasonably hard, and then to get the prestige nightfall done, you must get 200,000 points. They could do it like that, or they could do it where they add a bunch of modifiers from the heroic adventures. They get them all in there. They get them within the rotation. The prestige nightfall modifiers are set. You have one nightfall per week, and the modifiers are randomized, and they go on a loop or something, and you just have one nightfall per week like that. Or you could have it 3. In my opinion, having 3 nightfalls dilutes what a nightfall is. You know, it's the nightfall. Day 1, what's the nightfall? Oh, it's this. Having 3 of them's like, I can understand it for strike loot purposes, but right now there's not a big need to be you know, chasing after strike loot, since it's uninteresting now. Most people have all that loot. So we have no need for free nightfalls right now. Just need the 1 per week. So I think probably the best way of doing it is just having as many modifiers in the game as much as we can. You know, have them all be reasonable, of course. But like I've said it in a previous video, there's a lot of good modifiers that they're not using in the right places. Bring Prism back, things like that. Bring the rings back from Vanilla. That they were good. The rings were good, man. Things like that. So that's the ways that they could do it. I mean, it's just raising questions because they specifically said the word prestige within that sentence, which just makes me to believe that You know, there's gonna be a change maybe. Don't quote me on it. There might not be a change on there. So if the system stays the same, then there's ways to get a higher score run for fire team and solo on the existing system that we have right now. Okay, there's ways to do that, which I'm going to show you now. Right, so this is going to be the card setup. So as for fire team runs, talking about that first, you can run max handicap, which is 259, because you're in a fire team. You can still have an efficient score on that. It's still the best way to run if you want the highest possible you can get, right, for your emblem to look good and whatnot. But for a 200k for your fire team, a 5 times multiplier is efficient enough. But like I said, you can go higher and run like a 7.3 one, which I'll show you at the end. For solo player, it's different. A max handicap solo nightfall run is no good for score runs, for trying to get a high score. Since it's too long, you only have 15 minutes to get the score. Once 15 minutes kicks in, you get halved. You multiply, then 18 minutes kicks in, you're not earning any score. So max handicap are pointless for solo. So you need to get a sweet spot, and the sweet spot, I believe, is between 210 and 219. Okay? You don't want to be going below 210 because 210 makes you 540 light. So you're at the required level of the nightfall. Don't be going 200, 190. That's just a waste of time. Put at least 210 between 219. The reason why I say 219 is that 220, that would make you 10 levels below the nightfall. That would have the ads with a sword icon on there. Okay? Then when it's 20 levels, it's the skull icon. On a solo, once you start getting to the skulls, it's no good. So I believe sweet spot between 210 219. As for singes, you always want to have a singe on because it adds to your card, so it's not detracting from it. Just play the singe the best you can on what nightfall you're doing. They're all different, and there's different options on what you can do, whether you want to buff your weapons and abilities or whether you want to nerf the enemies, whatever you want to do that way. So as for heavyweight, grenadier and brawler, they're very powerful modifiers, but they detract from your score. For serious score runs, even 200Ks I would say as well, don't be putting those modifiers on. Okay? You want to get used to not running them. There's plenty of exotics and builds within the game to still feel powerful without having to use those modifiers. Okay, so Extinguish is a 0.3. It's not that high, but it's higher than most modifiers. The reason why Extinguish is very good is because it's a modifier that you're putting on that doesn't impact your gameplay too much. It doesn't impact your speed. In score runs, you've got to be efficient and fast at killing and getting to the boss in a timely manner. So Extinguish on there is good. Obviously, you're not intending to die anyways in a run, unless you would be losing a lot of time. So Extinguish is definitely one that you should be putting on. So next up, match games. So match games are 1 times additive to your card. Now, in a fire team run, it's really easy, this one, because you can just have arc on one guy, solo and void on the other two, and you're good to go. All burns are matched. As for solo play, you've got to think a lot more. If you've got 3 shields to deal with, you've got to really think about your loadout. Some nightfalls are easier in that respect. For example, ward and nothing, only void on there. So depends on the case. So these modifiers I'm going to list here, you just stay away from. So iron, famine, grounded, and attrition. They are all the same of a 0.25. So they are less than Extinguish, but they impact your gameplay and slow you down, which therefore means you're going to get less score. It's all about being efficient within the 15 minutes, and all of them, like grounded, you can't jump like you normally would do. Famine, you get less ammo, you're going to run out of ammo maybe. Iron makes the enemies more tanky. Their score multipliers don't reflect their difficulty. That's the problem with them. So running those aren't that good. I mean, attrition's nice, but it's a 0.25. So it's not good enough for a card, for the score run, really. It's not worth using. You can use them, but they're not worth it, in my opinion. There is momentum as well to mention. Now, momentum's is only 0.15, but it's very powerful. It may as well be a green modifier because you can play very aggressive with momentum. Momentum sometimes I'll have on my cards, depending on what my setup is. Just to mention about that, but I think we know about how momentum works. As for Blackout, Blackout is higher than the rest. It's a 0.5 additive to your card. Now, if you're playing the range game, whether it be solo or fire team, Blackout's handy. I mean, it's higher than the rest. It's not higher than match game, but it's higher than all the rest. Okay? So you want to play around this modifier. Blackout can be nasty on certain nightfalls, for example, Savathun Song, where you've got nowhere to hide. There's Thrall everywhere, melee on you. You know, they can one-shot you at certain handicaps. So Blackout can be nasty, but on a serious score run, if you want as high as you can for your emblem, or you want to get 200k, Blackout is a recommended one. Alternatively, you could have Momentum on there instead of Blackout, which is also a nice card set, which sometimes I do. Now, the maximum card you can run, like I said, was 7.31. So for a fire team, that's a good card. For a serious fire team wanting a good score run, the 7.31 times card is really good. To get the 200k, whether it be solo or fire team, a sufficient card's 5 times. You only need 5 times for that on this system. For 3 times, for the 100k, it's a 3 times card. Okay, that's the modifiers and the sort of score multipliers you want to be running for your 200ks and higher. Thank you.